So the good news for us guys is a shrinking business, all right, actually is going to result in more horror product being made because these movies are cheap and they have a defined audience, us. All right? And the future of all of these businesses is direct marketing to niche audiences. And we talk about the idea that you can build something and go, and I agree with you that adult animation at an alternative and a low budget price point, I think there's a big future in that as well. But it's all of these things. It's understand what the market cap of your audience is, guys. If that's at X, and you make your product at Y, and you hit doubles all day and directly sell to an interconnected horror audience, and you will be able, and that's why, let's be honest, guys, the original horror movies today, the guys, a lot of our friends, those movies are making, they're not happening theatrically. All right, they're coming out on DVD, but a Hatchet is able to make money because the audience finds it. And Anchor Bay and those companies, they'll support it at the right level. But like, yeah, look, these are all symbiotic businesses at this point, and we are about to watch a 2 or 3 year macro, once in a multi-generational change. And I would argue to all of us guys, it's a gigantic opportunity to go and get more of this original stuff made. And I would say to you candidly, look, we live in a world where, guys, there was just a bidding war over asteroids. Okay? They're making Bazooka Joe into a movie, guys. All right? What is that movie about? All right? So we have a fundamental choice, and it's guys, and it's on all of us. Do we rise up in this 2 or 3 year period when the model changes and go take what is rightfully ours and start driving the bus again? Or do we continue to play passive? And that's the sort of reality. Because we can sit all day and go, like, it's great that Hollywood's coming down this thing, but every one of us, when we go out tonight at the party and we're having a drink, we're all going to talk about the Hollywood thing, the thing we're not discussing here, which is 85% of these guys are full of horse shit. All right, let's call it what it is. So all I'll say, guys, is
you're a badass man.
Well, you know, I'm not doing anything unique. All I'm doing is telling the truth. And what's happened is, guys, and I'll shut up, I promise you, but everyone that works in my business, we've forever, and we've all dealt with at various levels, we are sort of bought into that system. We're part of it. We're part of the problem. Because I'm not going to mess with a system that's paying my rent, and we all have things we like. We play Xbox, okay? Well, guess what? That system's dead. That system's morphing. So what's the point of supporting a system that doesn't exist anymore? All right, let's go drive that paradigm forward. And look, genre creatives. Who are the A-level filmmakers of today, guys? There's a panel going on with Jim Cameron and Peter Jackson. All right, here. Sam Raimi's announced doing Warcraft. Where do these filmmakers come from? Low-budget genre. And so this is going to continue to be a very important place. And ultimately, guys, so much of the future is in this audience's hands in a way I don't think we fundamentally understand. And it's going to be an education process, but it's high time we start getting proactive and smarter.
I would also make an argument that films don't necessarily sell across the board more than comic books do. I mean, a tentpole film will sell certainly astronomically more than the largest comic book does. But the middle class is disappearing from both comic books and movies, and I think movies faster because you really did have a strong middle class of films that were in between really small indie and really high budget tentpoles, and it's really getting to the point where it's big tentpoles and then little tiny movies that sell on DVD, and they don't sell as much as people think they do. And I know comic books are, suffer from the same thing, but the costs are different.
Sure.
So
comics, we can survive on that mid-level pretty easily, just because obviously the expectations aren't as high, and the stockholders aren't as breathing down my neck because I make hack slashes in my living room, and there's nobody to bug me about it. So yeah, you're right. That's an interesting thing to think about it.
Also, the other kind of unique opportunity that's there is that, like, when we were growing up, there was like a distinction between films and television. Like, everything was so compartmentalized. Now I think people are willing to follow a story or characters through different media. They don't really care. Like, you see the movie, and then if you want to find out what happens next, you got to play the video game, and then to find out what happens beyond that, you got to read the comic. It's like comics are so inexpensive to do. You have an opportunity there to, go directions with characters and things, and if that's the only place to get it, people would go there, I think.
That's yeah, that makes sense.
Very true. Well, why don't we hand it over to the audience? And does anybody have a question? Go ahead. They asked about zombies and if that's saturated right now.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I think the thing is,
zombies
have
are
shitty
killer.
zombie movies oversaturated? Absolutely. Yes. But is there still room for good ones and good zombie comics? Yeah, man. It just means you have more chance of getting good stuff. I mean, are you sick of it? Yeah. Am I sick of it? Hell yes. But that doesn't mean that if something came out that was great, I wouldn't totally enjoy it.
Special Dead.
Well, yeah, it's
You're
all
ready
about
for
stories.
it.
I was just gonna say,
coming.
the Special Dead.
It's
you got,
coming.
You got the different zombie stories that are coming that are going to be really rad, I think. I mean, and like you said, yeah, there's plenty of low-budget zombie movies that follow the same formula that get really bad. But
You tell me
even
you're not
high-budget
watching
movies
zombies
have
versus
some.
Yeah.
handicapped people.
Yeah.
You'd watch that movie. You'd watch that movie. Special Dead. We're making it. Stay tuned.
Yeah, you have to realize too, the audiences love zombies, and as long as they keep, asking for it, we're willing to give it,
That always cracks me up because it's really easy to see it in comics because of message boards and sort of instant ability to get feedback. But fans will write you and be like, I'm so sick of this, and it's like, yeah, but you bought it.
Yeah.
Or
That's
you'll
right.
go on the internet and bitch about slash movies or remakes, but you went to the movie.
You
That's-
vote with
that's
your
the
dollar.
point. You voted with your dollar, so that's the thing.
Ghost stories are interesting because you had the J-horror sort of thing, and that really, even then having American companies chase it. Horror, every subgenre of horror has a slight problem at the studio level, which is, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, a significant percentage of people making these movies don't like horror movies, okay? So their natural inclination is, all right, well, The Grudge just worked, so get me that, but instead of the hand in the shower, she'll be in the bathtub, okay? That is the stuff that goes on. And so I do think a couple-fold, and this is an area where comics will help cross-genre stuff. I tend to agree on the superhero origin thing that I think audiences now get the basic sort of tenets that they're maybe ready to move on a little bit. And I think at the Ghost level, at some level, audiences, they know enough of the bases of, like, I'll let this slip. So we're going to do a thing. You guys ever seen the movie called Shortcuts that Robert Altman did? It's a slightly different crowd, I know. So we're doing a thing called Deep Cuts, which is basically shortcuts for horror, right? And every different style of horror, from ghost to slasher to J-horror to torture porn, you name it, all in one movie, and this woman suffers like Job through one ridiculous night. And and I think get it from all. And so at some level, that's taking Robert Altman and Nashville and that style of thing and dumping it right in the genre. And I think stuff like that's got to go on. But I really do believe as well, I think a lot of what went on the Xbox 360 with the horror stuff is very interesting as well because, I'll put it this way, I'm 30, I'm already too old, okay? I don't want to watch shit on this, all right? But I'm not naive that when I have kids, they're going in baby seats and they're looking at the back of my headrest that screens this big. And so that's a kid that goes to preschool conditioned to get entertainment on that form. We all, a batch of us play Xbox, we play together. All right, we stream Netflix through that. So who's to say, again, understand your price point, that you couldn't go make that really original ghost story, make it at a smart budget, and that's the key. I think you did that very well with your film, and a lot of you guys obviously have background in that space, and go direct market it to your audience. That's the great thing about horror audience. Horror audience is one of the most interconnected audiences that there is. And, like I said, be it the Hatchets or what's going on with Repo at some level and what they've built, good's good. They hear about it and they tend to get behind stuff. And so you got to keep slugging. I would say to you, you're going to see such a change at the studio level in terms of, I think, studio mergers. I mean, it's going to be a really wild time that a lot of the old rules, frankly, are going to get rewritten. So it's really just keep sort of punching at some level. Okay, so so you know that well. That's well, I'm not cutting you in on a percentage, so don't even try that. That's all right. That's good. That's
But yeah,
good.
Todd is actually making a ghost movie, so he's a good guy to talk to about.
Yeah. No, I feel the exact same way about most of the ghost films out there and things that have been coming out and the oversaturation and the J-horror stuff. And